Hi, everybody. It's Mary Ellen from Create With Me, and I'm here in the Creativity Nest for Teach Me Tuesday. So I'm sorry I missed you last week. I had a really busy week. I was getting ready to have friends here in the nest. We had a little weekend retreat, and boy, did we have fun. So during that retreat, one of my friends, Beth, shared a beautiful card with us, and I would like to share with you my version, of course, because I always like to tweak things and change things around a little bit. So I'm going to take you down on my desk and I'm going to show you what I'm using and the product I'm using. And then when I get done, I'll show you Beth's version. It's really, really cute, using some of the Thoughtful Journey paper, which unfortunately isn't available until next week. It's on back order. So hold on just a minute. Let me take you down to my desk. I'm going to use the Mediterranean Blooms paper. I am totally in love with this paper. I forgot to tell you, chime in and let me know you're watching. So this paper is just gorgeous. This is from page 34 and 35 of the new catalog. It's called Mediterranean Blooms. The paper is Mediterranean Blooms and the stamp set is Citrus Blooms and the dies. So here's the stamp set, which I do like it, but the paper is really, to me, the star of the show. So you can do oranges, lemons, and then it's got a really pretty font. I do love this font and a little bit of mixed font here and then just the straight uh, uh, printing. And then a couple additional, some texture and a couple additional blooms. So that's really pretty. But this paper, let me show you this paper. There's 12 different designs. So there's 6 on one side, or 6 of the fruity. There's lemons, and then here's just the blooms, just the lemon blossoms. Then we've got oranges. And we've got like more open ones, and then we've got more solid. And then there's one page that is lemons and oranges. Beautiful. And then check out the other side. And I'm not a big blue person, but I do love these Mediterranean type prints. Super pretty. We're going to be using the little navy that has just a little tiny, I'm going to call it a daisy, just a little floral. But some of these papers are just gorgeous. So we're going to use lemons today and a little bit of that. It's going to remind me of going back to Greece. It's so beautiful. And then these are the opal rounds assortments, and I've got some here, but I don't have very many left because I've been using them like crazy. So this is what you're going to need to complete your card. So let me just go through the pieces with you. We're going to use wild wheat and night of navy, and you're going to be like, okay, Emmy, you're using wild wheat. I don't really understand where that's coming from because that's not one of the coordinating colors. But I just looked at this paper and it just felt a little muted, and um, it just felt more cozy to me. I don't know how to explain it other than it just felt a little bit more cozy. So your card base is just a normal 11 by 4 1/4 half sheet of cardstock. You're gonna need 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 4 inches by 3 1/4. You'll also need a piece of white that's the same, 4 inches by 3 1/4. And then, why does this look smaller? Nope, it's the same. I don't know, it looks smaller. And then you're going to need a piece of designer series paper that's 4 inches by 1 3/4. And then you're going to need a 3 inch square. My version uses a 3 inch square, and I've pre-embossed it with a 3D folder. And then I cut out. I told you I'm really a fan of the paper, so I cut out the one of the images from the paper, and we're going to use this, and then we're going to do a little stamping for our greeting. So very little stamping. If you're not a big stamper, or if you just love the paper, this is a great card to use it on. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move these out of the way, and we're going to do our scoring and cutting and get ready to do our stamping. So you're going to need your Stampin' trimmer with a I got to pull this out, with a scoring blade on it. Okay, you're gonna need a cutter and a score. So we're gonna start on the 11-inch side at the top at 5 1/2. That's a standard half of a sheet of paper, 5 1/2. And then we're going to score it at 9. So 5.5 and 9. I almost pulled my cutter down. 5.5 and 9. So you got 5.5 and 9, just like that. Then I'm going to take I've got my glass mat here. And if you don't know, the glass mat is available to demonstrators right now to pre-order and will be available to customers at the beginning of July. So mark your calendars for that if you're really interested in the glass mat. I'm trying to put it up here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm a little low. Okay, so I'm taking a pencil and I'm just finding the middle point. So it's 4 1/4. So it's going to be 2 1/8, and I'm just putting a little tick mark there at 2 1/8. And then let me bring this back down. So 2 1/8 is my halfway mark, and I'm going to cut from that halfway point to the score right here. So this is the 2-inch score. It's 5.5 and 9, so that leaves 2 inches here because it's 11-inch sheet of paper. We're going to cut from that middle point to that score. So I'm just going to put those in the chamber just like this. I'm going to get it in there as closely as I can and cut that into a triangle. So we're going to put our point and our score and cut. Okay, so our cardstock is going to look like this. Oh goodness. All right, let me move this out of the way and I'll show you. It's going to look like this. It's going to look like a little arrow, okay? So we're going to fold our cardstock back. Let me get a bone folder here. We're going to give it a good crease. We're going to fold this one forward, just like this. And so our card is going to look just like that, okay? So now it's time to add our paper on that we've got already. So we've got these 2 pieces, these 3 pieces, but 2 identical pieces. I'm going to use the navy blue side. And I am going to put one on the inside, just like this. And I'm going to keep working on the inside. I'm going to bring in the basic white. And I'm going to put it on this side of the fold. That's where we're going to put our message. We'll do a little stamping there. And then we've got to finish off this one little piece. And this has just got the little blossoms. And it's not going to hurt my feelings if you chime in and you say, I don't really love the wild wheat. I do love the wild wheat. I think it tones it down. It's not so vivid. There's a time when you want vivid. This time I like to have it toned down a little. Now, before I put this piece on, I'm going to bring in some ribbon. I have been pondering what color I wanted. I can either use white, because I've got my white, but the background of this is the new basic beige, and I'm leaning that way. So I think I'm going to use the basic beige. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the ribbon around my cardstock before. You could do this several ways. I'm going to just tie it and give it a little knot. Let me bring in my snips here. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in right in the middle. I can still manipulate it. I'm going to make a little knot just like that. Okay. And then it's going to go in here, but before I adhere it, I want to make sure that it's off to the side. Okay, it is. I don't know if I left enough to make a bow. I'm going to just try. I'm just going to try. And if I didn't, then that's okay. I'm happy with the knot. But I thought maybe I'm going to try it this way. Bow, the shorter one, wrap. Let's just see if I can get a tiny little bow. I think that could be pretty with this. I have to be really careful and poke this in. It might not work. Well, you just fuss it back and forth. I want a tiny one, so it's actually not too bad. I'll trim it up here in a second. Let's see what it's like, and then we can always change it. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the front of my card. And you do not need a bow, and I'll show you a couple examples that don't use a bow at all. So I am going to adhere this to the front, getting it centered. It's going to go like that, so I can pull this down just a little. I want my point to come right off of there and the bow to be right there. Okay. All right, so now I've got my 3-inch square, and this is going to be my front focal point on a point just like that. But I want this to pop out, okay? So I'm going to take some Whisper White craft ink and a blending brush, and I'm just going to pick up some of that white ink, and I'm going to gently brush over, and you can probably see it on the screen there, how it just makes that those images pop. I'm doing it really lightly, and I'm okay if it's got that dusty look. But it just makes the image pop. It's not so subtle. It's just bringing it out just a little bit. It's just those little attention to detail things that are just really what really makes stamping fun. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive because I can control it where it's going, and then I'm going to add my triangle, and I want to make sure I'm not going off the paper. Here. Oh, I got that really close. Okay. All right, just like that. And then we're going to add our flowers. I think on this one, the other one I didn't do this, but I think on this one I'm going to add some dimensionals. I'm keeping my dimensionals fairly central because some of my image might go off the edge of the cardstock. So I just want to make sure I'm not, putting dimensionals all the way out to the edge. And then we can decide, see how I can have it kind of go off the edge just a little bit. So that gives it just a little bit of pop. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, I don't love that bow, but I do think a knot would be nice. So I think I will take the bow off. I'm going to tighten it down just a little. I'm going to trim it up cleanly. Just like that. I do like the bow on there. And then the other option is we can decide if we want it to open up fully like that, or we glue this down and then the card just opens like that. So either way, I think I'll just leave it the way it is. I know I've got it a little poppy, but maybe let's try this. What would happen if I just took a dimensional right here at the point and then pop that down just to hold it in place? Yeah, okay, I like that. All right, so just like that. And then let's do just a little bit of stamping. On the inside, we're going to use a little bit of the wild wheat. And I've got some of the little floral images. I'm going to stamp a couple here. And then I'm going to stamp one of the small ones up there. And then on the front, I want to put the word hello. So I'm going to bring in the Night of Navy on my Whisper White strip. This is a 1/2-inch strip. You're going to use whatever size you need for your reading. So stay tuned because I want to show you the card that my friend made for me. And I think on this one, I'm just going to, since I've used the ribbon, I think I'm just going to mimic that. And do a little bit of mini dimensionals. Just a couple. And tuck that over here. And then we have to finish it off with some of the, I had it out, of the gems, the iridescent gems. So as you can see, I've used like almost all my blue, but I really like these gold ones, especially with the lemon. So I'm going to put a couple on here, just like this, one of the big ones down here, right over there. And there's the card. It's kind of like a diamond card, diamond fold. And then I added a little bit of ribbon, and then when we open it, it looks like that. So here's the version if you didn't want to put a ribbon. You could have it like this. And if you didn't want it to, if you wanted to open it and it looks like this, then you can just leave it full on, just like that. But then the one my friend Beth showed me looks like this. It's super cute. It has the thoughtful journey paper, sending you a smile today. And it opens like that. So pretty. And I just thought that was so, it looks so pretty. It showcases the designer series paper. And I'm always looking for something that when you have beautiful designer series paper like we've had lately, just looking for a card that showcases the designer series paper is always my goal. And I think the last couple folds that I've showed you have really just showcased the paper. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please, if you do not subscribe to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. I appreciate it. And you guys have a great day and happy stamping. Bye, everybody.